Hi, guys. Welcome to our first episode of Off the Sidelines. My name is Matthew Liam Bruni, and on the other line is Benedict Rhodes. We hope all of you are doing well in this tough time in the world, staying safe at home. And we also hope that you're trying to get as much of your sports fix as possible, with games being replayed on TV.
On today's episode, we're going to be talking about coronavirus updates from around the world in relation to sports, what's going to happen with the Olympics, the Canadian Premier League, and we're also going to talk about throwback games being shown on TV. Okay, so Matthew, let's start with the first topic then. Coronavirus is obviously the topic of the day and
Mm-hmm.
of the month, and
Yeah.
will likely be for many months to come.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and other than the Belarusian Premier League, pretty much for the main for the main part, pretty much
The only.
everything in the world is cancelled at the moment. So what have you sort of made of all this? Like, are you surprised at how quickly everything's just shut down essentially?
Well, I think when the NBA suspended their season 2 weeks ago now, it's been 2 weeks. It's just I wasn't expecting like all everything to be suspended. Like as at first when the NBA said they were suspending their season, I was like worried. I'm like, oh no, like how big is this really gonna get? How big is COVID gonna get? And then I hear like in the next couple of days, like NHL, MLB, and other leagues suspending their seasons, and I started getting concerned. I'm like, how big is COVID really gonna get? And then now we're at a time 2 weeks later where it's been crazy in the world. Like we're all self isolating at home, and it's just insane how this is how this has been.
And are you surprised at sort of how quickly the dominoes fell? Like, it seems like within like 72 hours, pretty much everything was, or for the most part, everything was, especially North America, was cancelled.
Yeah, I was. Uh, I guess I would say I was not sort of surprised that everything canceled so fast. Like, I had a feeling like I said, once the NBA suspended their season, like after the first couple, like the past couple days, the days that passed, like I sort of realized that like okay, they because it was probably around that Friday or Thursday that the NHL and MLB suspended their season, and then the MLS did it, and a couple other soccer leagues have done as well. So I was kind of like at that time, like okay, this is they kind of acted fast enough that they would contain the spread of COVID. So I think I think I'm not surprised that they did this fast or that fast. But yeah.
And when do you think we're gonna start seeing sports come back? Like, do you think there's even any chance we see stuff before like June or maybe even, or like, do you think it's gonna be months before we see it?
Um, I think June's too soon. I think maybe July. I think we're gonna start seeing. I said that the NHL and NBA would start up like the playoffs or even some of their games back in like I would say July, that they would start their seasons back. Um, I think in regards to those two sports leagues, because the postseason was just so close to like the NHL postseason was supposed to start in a week and a half or so, and the NBA in like 2 weeks ish. So I think like when they come back in July, they have to like integrate a couple of regular season games, and then after they do that, they can get right into the postseason. But I think July would be the first sports, or sorry, I should say MLB would be like around June. I predict MLB in June, and then NHL, NBA in like around July ish.
And the big news this week was the Olympics. Like,
Hmm.
Canada decided and announced before the Olympics made their official announcement that they wouldn't go and they wouldn't be
Hmm.
allowing athletes or wouldn't be sending athletes to Tokyo for the Olympics.
Yeah.
And what do you sort of think of that? And the update that it'll be about a year from now until we actually see anything.
Well, I think Canada did the right thing. I think Canada really put the IOC on notice by saying that they wouldn't send any of their athletes to Tokyo. I think that was great for Canada to do that. It just shows like how they want to be safe and not want to put their athletes just in a situation where they're playing like let's say in an empty arena if this even goes till July, August when the Olympics is supposed to start. But I think Canada did the right thing to be the first Tokyo because this COVID is spreading fast. I mean, you can see it in the news and around the world. It's just spreading like crazy right now. And I think, like I said, I think Canada did the right thing by being the first country to say we're not sending our athletes to the Olympics.
And you mentioned
Canada not sending their athletes, and do you think the Olympics have responded too late? Like, do you think they said that they would move the Olympics too late, or was it too soon, or what do you think about that?
I think the Olympics is obviously their first priority tends to be money more than it is the athletes, I think.
True.
So I think, and obviously it's the same for everyone, like NBA and NHL, everyone as well. Like money is going to be the driving factor here, I think, when it comes to canceling seasons as opposed to finishing them.
Right.
I think with the Olympics, they wanted to wait until the last possible moment to make that decision, like as soon before the start of the games as they could. And I think now that Canada and a couple other countries, I think as well, said we won't be sending athletes to the games, I think that's when the Olympics sort of thought, the International Olympic Committee sort of thought, okay, maybe this is more serious than maybe we think, or maybe we need to actually make a decision here and postpone the games.
I was gonna say there was also some Olympic qualifying events that still had to happen, and they canceled those. So it would make sense it made sense for the Olympics to cancel, like to postpone the Olympics. Like I just felt like for me it was too late in a way. But I mean they did it, so it's done now. But I just think they kind of responded too late to the issue.
Yeah, I think having a whole extra year now to sort of figure out the logistics of that, like now they'll be able to, first of all, finish the Olympic qualifiers for those sports who aren't done yet. And also, that'll give them a month to find new venues, find any new accommodations they might need, if anything changed for whatever reason. So I think that postponing, like guaranteeing now that there'll be an extra year, so it gives them, I think, enough time to sort of figure out what they need to do and make sure the next year's games are going to be sort of on track to be as good as they can be.
Right, and I know that, like I said, the MLS suspended their season. Do you have any predictions in which you think the MLS season will come back? Do you think they're gonna play without fans at the beginning, or do you think they're gonna wait a little while for fans to start coming back to their games?
That's interesting. I think I don't think they're going to go the behind closed doors route unless they have to. Same with all the other leagues and events. Like I think that's like closed doors is going to be a last resort. I think for MLS and for all the other organizations.
Right.
As for a timeline,
yeah, and I know.
As for a timeline, I have no idea when they're gonna.
Sorry to interrupt.
As for timeline, I have no idea when they're gonna try and come back. Like I have no insight to that, but I think it's gonna be a while. I think, like as you mentioned with the other sports, like I think we're probably not gonna see anything for another 3 months, maybe at the minimum. I reckon.
Yeah, basically, like you said, every soccer league has suspended their season as they should.
Except for Belarus for some reason, because their president has decided like we don't want to be like those Western countries.
Right now. Yeah, I think that's the only league playing right now. Like I don't know any like smaller leagues. I'm pretty sure the WWE is still on, but that's like that and
I think there's a soccer league in the Bahamas. I think that's playing as well, but then again, you're not going to get that many fans of those games, so it's probably not as much of a risk as the Premier League, where you have 60,000 fans in a stadium.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, okay. I guess continue your seasons if you think it's safe for your players. And
yeah, exactly. And so obviously the league over here is the Canadian Premier League, who announced that they've suspended until further notice. Now, with the addition of Atletico Ottawa this year, the schedule was going to be 28 games, 2 home and 2 away against each of the other 7 teams. do you think that the Canadian Premier League should try and play a full season, or the idea I was suggesting was maybe play one home and one away against each of those teams, sort of condense the season down to 14 games, which isn't ideal, but at least you have some sort of a structured, fair season.
Um, I think I think the CPL should do one home and one away for each team. Uh, and I know that the CPL does 2 seasons, right? They divide their
Oh
whole
no, not
season
this
into
year. Not this
two.
year.
Oh, not this year.
No,
Okay.
this year is just one
Um,
one full season.
one. Okay. Is it because of COVID, or is it
No,
just a
that was
general
already
rule?
announced.
Was it because of coronavirus that they decided to make it one full?
No, that was
Oh,
announced
okay.
a few months ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do think. Okay. Well, I do think they should do one home game and one away. I think it makes the most sense now, especially since you don't know when soccer is going to come back. I think a condensed season of one, like when each team, there's 8 teams. So if you're playing 14 games in the whole season, I think that would have to be the reasonable decision for the CPL. I think that would make the most sense.
Yeah, and one thing we kind of touched upon before was the idea of playing games behind closed doors. Now, we've heard LeBron James come out and say he doesn't support that idea. He doesn't want to play because he thinks fans are the reason why they play the game. He's kind of backtracked on that a little bit, but the same sort of sentiment stands. Like he does, like a lot of players don't want to play in empty arenas. Um, do you think this can ultimately come to that, or do you think they're just going to hold off until it's safe to have fans at games again?
Um, I think I think when I look at sports in general, like I look at the NBA, I think it's like it's a big global sport. Like it's probably the most popular sport in the world besides like, soccer and others. But I think when in regards to the fans, like I think the fans are really important to the game of basketball. Like, you hear the reactions to a play and like, they're like probably like taunting the other team. So I think in regards to the fans for the NBA, I think they're important. Now, if you look at a sport like baseball, for example, I mean, there are like some chants in baseball, but it's not really as effective as it would be in the NBA because I feel like right now baseball is not a huge sport besides basketball. And in regards to the fans, I think fans are more important to the NBA than MLB right now, I would say. So it would make more sense for baseball to play in closed doors um, than the NBA, like to play with fans, basically.
And
Do you think the NBA should play
I think generally,
like with fans?
I think it would be bad for them to play without fans. All the sports. So I think like sports ultimately
Hmm.
is just a game, really, and it's entertainment. So I think obviously the financial implications make sense for them to have no fans because they want to just play the games, get the season done, get the sponsorship money, get the broadcast deals done. But I think overall
Right.
it makes sense to play with the fans because ultimately that's who you're playing for more than
Right.
I think that's what the players are playing for anyway, not necessarily the owners maybe. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think they should play with fans if possible, and they maybe don't play games until you can do that. But ultimately, I think it depends on how long this whole COVID-19 thing
Hmm.
takes.
Yeah. I was gonna say, do you think like a sport like soccer could play without fans? Do you think that it would make sense for like MLS, the English Premier League, any like the big major leagues around the world? Do you think it would make sense for them to play without fans or no?
So like what I just said, like the because of the sponsorship and the broadcast deals that they have to honor, I think
Hmm.
I think if it takes a long time for this COVID-19 thing to sort of die down. I imagine eventually they will just start playing games behind closed doors just to sort of honor their contracts they have with broadcasters and stuff. But I
Okay.
think, ideally, I think you won't play without fans. But if that's what it comes to, that's what it comes to.
Right. Okay.
A lot of people, a lot of networks have been showing throwback games on TV and
Mm-hmm.
on streaming services or on YouTube or whatever. And I know both of us have watched a couple of those games. What games have you been watching over the last couple of days?
Um, I think the obvious answer would probably be the Raptors run, of course, last year because it was such a big moment for Toronto sports. Like Raptors bringing their first championship to the city. So I think I know so far they've been like channels have been replaying the first round. I know they haven't gone to like the East Final and NBA Final yet, but they've been playing like sort of like the first round. I think a little bit of the second round too. So I've been enjoying probably like two of those games I've watched so far. I guess another thing I've been watching is the Blue Jays World Series run in 1992 when they the ALCS. I think it was Game Four. I was watching Game Four of the ALCS. Um, but besides those, that's really what I've been watching. Have you been following anything lately?
Yeah, I also watched the Jays and Athletics game from the '92 ALCS when Almar hit that home run. And that
Yeah.
was like almost a decade before we were born, but it's still cool to look
No.
back. It's still cool to look back and
Yeah.
watch those memories that a lot of people look back fondly on. And on MLS, they've been showing a lot of games. Like I watched Toronto FC versus Montreal from the 2016 Eastern Conference Final, which is one of the best games I've ever watched. And tonight, which is Friday, March 27th, they're showing the 2017 MLS Cup Final, which Toronto FC won against Seattle. So I'll probably tune into that.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's kind of cool to look back at some of these old memories and stuff we maybe haven't watched before as
Yeah.
well. But at the same time, like I just want to watch live sports again. Okay, I want to get back to current stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's like all the old games are definitely at least keeping us a little bit busy. At least there's something to watch. Like even like yesterday, Thursday, March 26th, yeah, it would have been the start of the MLB baseball season. I was kind of sad when you realize like it's not really opening day. Like, oh,
Yeah.
it's kind of sad to think about when you know that there's no opening day baseball when it's probably one of the best, like one of the best opening days in sports. Like outside of every other sport, it's probably one of the best opening days. So yeah, it was it's kind of sad not to see baseball right now, or even just sports in general right now.
Yeah. And if you could pick one game from any time in history that hasn't been shown yet that you'd like to watch again, what would you pick?
Oh, that's a tough one. I was maybe I was thinking maybe that's a tough one actually. I think maybe one of the I know we mentioned the 1992 Jays season that they've been replaying. Maybe the 1993 or even the 2015-2016 season, like when Jose Bautista hit that home run in 2015 in the ALDS Game 5. I think they should replay that. I think they should also replay the wild card game in 2016 and Game 3 of the Rangers and Jays. So those are my suggestions. Sorry. Do you have any?
I'd like to watch a bunch of old soccer games as well. Like I
Mm,
think maybe some of the early days of Toronto FC back in like 2007 or something. Maybe the game when the first
mm-hmm.
goal was scored by Danny Dichio, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Maybe even older, like old World Cup finals. Maybe might be kind of cool.
Mhm.
Like was it 2014 when or 2010, possibly both, when goals were scored in like really late into extra time to win the World Cup. Like the
Yeah.
drama of that would be cool to re-experience, or maybe even
Yeah.
1966 England winning. It's not gonna happen anytime soon, so it'd be nice to relive an old memory.
or even maybe, I mean, you already know what happened, but Germany and Brazil, that
Yeah,
game.
yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Except unless you're Brazilian.
Yeah, unless you're Brazilian, you just see all those fans crying. It's just like, whoa, that was a crazy game too.
Okay, I think that's all we've pretty much got to talk about today. Um,
Hmm.
and in the next little while, you guys can expect to see probably some more off the sidelines content. We're gonna try to make some more of this. If we can figure out how to maybe make it a bit more engaging, we'll try to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe some other videos, like maybe some video game stuff or some online stuff. We'll try and figure some of that out. And but yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. I'm Benedict. That's Matthew. Yeah, thanks for watching Off the Sidelines.